Ahoy hoy, welcome to this week's episode of the DCL Show. We're helping you navigate the waters of Disney Cruise Line. I'm your captain, Craig Williams, and I'm joined alongside by my other captains, including Captain Elaine Edwards of Dreams Unlimited Travel.
Hey, friends.
Captain Chris Vorbeck of Dreams Unlimited Travel.
Hi, great to be here.
Wow. And Captain Jackie Gailey of DCLFan.com.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. We have a great episode for you today. Elaine is going to run us through the pro tips for Embarkation Day. She has a lot, so you're going to want to hear all of them. But before we can get to that, I need to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content, you want to support us, book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It costs you no extra money, and you get the support of an incredible Dreams Unlimited Travel agent like Elaine and Chris. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today for a free, no obligation quote. Okay, Elaine, I need a lot of tips on how to make the best Embarkation Day possible. Why don't you start with what is Embarkation Day?
So Embarkation Day is the day that you are physically setting foot on that ship. You have booked your cruise. You've waited months and months. You've got that PTO approved. You've got your swimsuit packed, and you are ready to board the ship. However, if you do not know all of our handy dandy pro tips, you could have a pretty frustrating day. So we are going to get you all lined out and ready to go today. Very first one is your documents. You will want to make sure that you have everything you need to board the ship. Even though you have uploaded pictures of your passport and your photo ID and all that great stuff during your online check-in, you still need to have it to board the ship. You may even need things like if you're traveling with a child that is not your own child, you may need a notarized letter saying that you can leave. You may need, if you are in a divorce situation, you may need to have permission from the other parent or the court because you're physically leaving the country. There's a lot of documents that you need before you get on the ship. However, I cannot tell you how many times people have left those documents sitting on that kitchen table because they got them out and they got them all ready to go, but they didn't actually put them in their bag before they left home, and now they're on the way to port. And they call you frantically because they don't know what they're going to do because they're ready to get on the ship, but they left their passport at home. One of them happens to be on this panel, just saying.
Okay. It was one time. Luckily, it wasn't our Alaska cruise. I made it into Canada just fine. It was just, down the road at Port Canaveral. And luckily, one of our coworkers was also going to the ship and going past my house. So he was able to stop and pick it up for me. But the problem with that is I did have a photo of it on my phone and he brought it along. And then, of course, they didn't need it at all. But it's always better to have it just in case, especially if you screw up when you're entering your information in ahead of time. But Elaine, I do have a question for you with Embarkation Day because something I need to know. We are going to be cruising with Rory, my son, in about a month and a half from now. It's his first cruise and he will just be over 1 year old. We obviously have his birth certificate, but for kids, what else do you need? I know for an adult, if you have your birth certificate, you need your photo ID with it and that helps you, or a passport. But do you just need their birth certificate and that's it? Is it just that easy?
Yes, for the 1 year old, if you are sailing on a closed loop cruise, so you're starting in one port, you're coming back to the exact same port, and you are an American citizen, he can just use his birth certificate. However, I would not be a good travel agent if I did not say that even though you can just cruise with a birth certificate, it is always best to, if possible, use a passport, because if something were to happen, if somebody were to be injured or get sick and you were in the Bahamas or in the Caribbean or one of these other countries, you're not going to be able to get home without a passport. So I always definitely recommend having a passport, even though you don't actually need it for in these specific instances.
Listen, it's a last-second cruise. I did not know that I was going to be on it. I don't have enough time to get him a passport before the cruise leaves. So
you actually might.
Guess,
there have been stories of things being delayed, but I've also just was a friend of ours got theirs in 3 weeks. So it can go sometimes faster. I would definitely expedite it. And hopefully maybe you have 2 copies of the birth certificate, so you can use one and then send the other off to the send it in. So I would try. I agree with Elaine. We're good travel agents, so we say travel with the passport if you can. There are other ways you can get on board, but definitely check those. My big thing with Embarkation Day is tell people don't panic. By and large, everything is fixable. This is the one thing. If you don't have your proper documentation, it's the one thing that they can say you can't get on board. So check it and make sure you have all that information.
Listen, I'm prepared to leave my son behind in the Bahamas, and we will pick him up on the next cruise. He can fend for himself, so we'll just point him towards what's the awful water park place in Nassau? What is it? Atlantis. Yeah, we'll just point him towards Atlantis and be like, just go hang out there. We'll come and get you a little later. So there's a great casino, I've heard. What's our next tip, Elaine?
What? I don't. My head is exploding still.
Craig's in the running for Parent of the Year. So
right,
always.
Yeah, there's going to be an award for that one.
Okay. So, anyways, so we've packed our bags. We've got our passports in our bags. But here's the thing. It is always best to make sure that you actually arrive at port 1 day in advance, if not more. Because as we have seen in the last 3 years, flights are nuts. There are mass cancellations, mass delays. You never know. You don't want something to happen to you. You don't think something's going to happen, but sometimes things happen. And I have had so many people that have been delayed for their cruises. I have been delayed. I have landed in MCO, and my luggage did not land in MCO. My luggage decided to stay in Atlanta, and it was time to get on a cruise. And I was worried if I was going to be wearing the exact same outfit for the entire cruise. So just take a little bit of stress off yourself. Make sure you come in at least a day in advance. Even if you're driving, if you are more than a couple hours away, just try to come in the night before, that way in case there's any car trouble or anything that can delay you. So always, always, always try to get there at least a day early. And while you are on your way, you'll want to make sure that you download and update the DCL Navigator app on your phone. You want to make sure that everybody in your party that has a phone has it downloaded, has it updated. There's nothing you can really do in advance on it. It's just going to kind of have a countdown to your cruise. But once you get to that day of your cruise, you're actually going to get a pop-up notification. And it is going to give you the health survey, 5 or 6 questions that you can just make sure that everybody's healthy, or if anybody's got anything going on, you can let them know. That doesn't mean that you don't cruise just because you have sniffle or whatever. Be honest, answer it honestly. I've had people that they've had something going on. They answer honestly. They saw the ship doctor. They said, they cleared them that they could go on the ship, or they said, hey, just stay in your room just tonight. And then tomorrow, if you're good, you can go out on the ship, that kind of thing. So be honest, be a good cruise guest, answer it honestly. Anything else before we get on the ship? Does anybody have any tips before we're actually on the ship?
I mean, I was going to say lie on the health documents. Don't let a little sniffle ruin your cruise. Just, answer it the other way. I feel like you're just calling me out on things that I've done in the past in this entire episode, Elaine. Thank you.
I just wanted to say one quick thing.
Yeah, go.
Because so it's really important that you make sure that you check everything that you possibly can, because sometimes if you say, oh, I can bring this, I can carry this with me, it'll be fine. Don't overestimate what you can physically carry around with you, because staterooms aren't going to be ready the minute you get on the ship. So you really want to make sure that you've got the things that you must have in your carry-on bag, but try not to bring, like something that's huge and heavy, because you're going to be carrying it with you to lunch and all around until your room is ready. So, word of caution.
And if you have kids and they want to do the water slides or be in the pool before you have access to your stateroom, you may not get your bags until just before dinner time. So, so have that stuff with you. If you have medicines, carry those with you. Those kinds of important things are really essential to bring with you, and not
just the essentials. Then that's kind of what I mean, is just only bring what you need and not,
Well, make sure you also have your valuables.
Right.
I think what's breakable, what you should worry about. Like, I'm sorry, unless you're tipping the porters like $20 a bag, I wouldn't pack, or you have like a hard shell case, I wouldn't pack like a laptop in your bag and just trust it, because they throw those bags around. They're moving them very quickly. So if you have anything that's fragile, breakable, keep that with you. I mean, that's part of why I think too, like carrying alcohol on board. I mean, they can see it, but you would probably have a suitcase full of shattered glass if you were actually able to pack it away. So keep fragile things on you, but do make sure that you have cash to tip the porters, unless you carry on everything yourself, which is always an option. But you want to make sure your bags get on board safely and quickly. So they're going to do it regardless, but I feel like it's peace of mind to give them at the very least a couple bucks for each bag. Then you feel like they're going to take care of you. Well, that's just me.
Great.
And I will just say, before you get on board, if you forgot your luggage, they'll send you luggage tags. If you don't get them, don't worry, it's okay. The porters at the port will they'll make new ones for you, and so you're fine. I know sometimes people really get concerned about that. So just a little pre-cruise thing. That's not one of the things you have to panic about.
Definitely not. As Chris said, everything is fixable. Everything is fixable. We don't need to panic about anything, and we're not going to panic about anything, because now we are going to the port. And after you've gone through your online check-in, you have your port arrival time. Port arrival time, not boarding the ship time. I have a lot of people that ask me, okay, my port arrival time is noon. What time should I get to the port? At noon. That is your port arrival time, not boarding the ship time. So that is the time you are pulling up. Don't arrive an hour early, because there are times that they will not let you in early. And so you just need to arrive when it says to arrive, or after. And when you arrive, you are going to go through security, as we've all talked about that. And then we're going to wait for our boarding group number to be called. It's been called. We've stepped on the ship. Everybody thinks you go to Cabanas first, but that is incorrect. Jackie, where are you going first instead of Cabanas?
I usually go to Enchanted Garden.
Because you're going to have sit-down meal there?
Yep, because I want to have lunch there. I like to be waited on from the minute I get on a Disney cruise, because it makes me feel like I'm being spoiled. It's my favorite.
So a lot of people will go to Cabanas, and then they will wait in a very, 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 very long line. And if you want to have a more calm embarkation, you can check and see which of the table service restaurants are offering lunch that day. As Jackie said, Enchanted Garden. I had a lovely meal with Jackie at Enchanted Garden on the Wonder for our embarkation lunch. But even before that, there are other things that I personally recommend that you do first before you even think about lunch. If you are hoping for main dining, you got second dining, there will be a dining time switching area place, usually one of the lounges, and it will be at a designated time that you can go there and you can request to change your dining time. It is just a request. It can't be guaranteed. They can also check if you weren't able to get Palo reservations, or if you needed to change the time of Palo or change the number of people at your table, you can do that there as well. Another thing is that heading to the spa.
Elaine, can I just butt in a few seconds on that? For large groups, one of the things, and particularly I have one that's like 20-something people, they're all together. I recommend to them, go and check and see and make sure they have all of you connected. Even though I've connected them, go and make sure and how they're going to, and if you want certain ways you're going to be seated together, they'll be able to deal with things like that as well. So it's a great, you're covering all my things that were on my list. So it's awesome. We're on the same page.
Yep. So after we've gotten that all taken care of, the next thing that we're going to do is check out the spa. If you plan to see the spa during your cruise, you may want to be buying rainforest room passes because those are still very limited, and you can buy length of cruise pass. And even though they don't offer it, you can buy day passes. You just have to, they don't want to sell you a day pass, but you can buy day passes. You want to do that as soon as you can when you get on the ship, because again, they are very, very limited. They also will have, like, if you stop in early in embarkation day, a lot of times they'll have raffles, they'll have giveaways. They might have some kind of discount that they can offer you for booking something embarkation day. So if spas are your thing, definitely go there. And then you also want to check out either the excursion desk or port or cruise activity desk, and do any of those last minute drink tastings, character meet and greets. If you need to adjust anything with your excursions, get all of that worked out, because they do hold back places for the character meets and the drink tastings on board, because they know not everybody has necessarily signed up in advance. So get all of that worked out then. And then also take note, again with dining, is that if you have anybody in your party that has specific dining needs, and this is something that's kind of even above and beyond just, a dairy allergy or gluten-free, that kind of thing. Sometimes people have more dining needs than that. And there will be a time that will be listed on that Navigator app that is, you can go to usually in one of the lounges, where they will actually have the dining team and the head chef and members of that whole dining team there, that you can actually discuss those needs directly with them, and you can let them know, this is our needs, and they can let you know what options there are. That way, if they need to do anything in advance to prepare for your meals that week, they can go ahead and get that taken care of and get all of that straightened out for you, and really kind of put your mind at ease. Because I know when you're traveling with allergies or special dietary concerns, it is something that can really stress you out. Making sure that, am I going to be able to eat anything? And am I going to be safe while I'm eating those things? So this can really help put your mind at ease. Not a lot of people know that this takes place, but it's something really, really good that you can check out. So
sorry, Elaine, there are special places, like if you have a allergy, you may need to eat in a specific place on Castaway Cay if that's one of your stops. So they'll fill you in on all those kinds of things. How you deal with allergies up at Cabanas or one of the buffets. They'll walk you through all that stuff. So as I say, it's an awesome tip.
Yeah, so now we've got everything all ship shape and ready to go, and now we can eat lunch. And like I said before, she's heading to Enchanted Garden. I'm either right behind going with her, or I might be stopping at some of the grab and goes up at the pool, because here's the thing. I try to avoid cabanas on embarkation day because it is so crazy with long lines. And, I know I'm going to be eating at Cabanas 10 more times during that cruise, and I don't need it on embarkation day. So I just avoid that mess. So yeah, that's my opinion.
That is your opinion. That's not my opinion. See, I do have one question about the kids clubs, and so I'll throw it out now, but then I'll talk about Cabanas with it. With kids clubs, are you already pre-registering the kids, or do you have to go there? Because I feel like I always see all the people out like saying, oh, we get your kid all set up for the kids clubs for the rest of the week. So I do have a question about that. But what I do when I get on board, usually it's way past the time of my port arrival time, because I always come after. I like walking the ship first, even if I'm there for like photos, videos, whatever. That's a different circumstance. But just in general, I get on and I reacquaint myself with the ships, even the ones I've been on, like, multiple times. The Magic, I could walk with my eyes closed, but like when we got on the Wonder this past time, I felt so confused. I felt lost because I hadn't been on there in 10 years, and I needed to figure it all out, because you don't want to be like 3 or 4 days in and still have no idea where you're going on a ship. And, you get on the Wish, you definitely want to take time for that. So in my opinion, by the time that you start to acquaint yourself with the ship, then the lines are basically gone at Cabanas. Get in right at the end, get your lamb, get your all-you-can-eat peel and eat shrimp, and enjoy it. The crowds, they go there first. It doesn't mean you can't swoop in a little later and have a late lunch. But kids club stuff, Elaine, explain that to me.
So when you're doing your online check-in, there is a place that you can pre-register for kids clubs, and you can kind of get all of that set up as far as like entering in what your secret word is going to be and all of that kind of thing, and who can pick up your kids and who can't pick up your kids if you're traveling with multiple staterooms. You kind of want to get everybody cross-pollinated together. That way everybody can pick up everybody's kids. Then when you get on board, you do want to make sure that you pick up the bracelet that looks just like a magic band. They think they're usually red, and they'll put that on the kids clubs for any of the kids that will be in the kids clubs. That way they will use that to scan into the club, as well as scan out of the club, so that the way they know that this is where this child is. I was even surprised one time they were actually able to kind of GPS track exactly where they were based on that band. Because when I went to pick up one of my sons, they said, yeah, he's at this video game station right here. And they were looking on the screen. So I don't know if they were looking at a camera or if they were like GPS tracking him with his band, but it was kind of funny. Now they will, with those bands, they are going to charge you a fee to your stateroom. Last time I checked, it was $20. Maybe it's gone up, but the last time I checked, it was $20. They charge that to your stateroom. At the end of their cruise, you turn the band back into the kids club, and they take that $20 charge off. If you don't, and you decide to take it home, you paid $20 for that band. So that is your choice. You can take it home. But just keep that in mind, that if you want that $20 per band back, that you want to turn that in at the end. So that's
and they don't. And sometimes people think they work as magic bands. They're different than magic bands. So if you take it home, it won't work at Disney World or the other places. If you do get one of the new Magic Disney Band Pluses, if it works on one of the ships, those will work as to get the kids into the kids club. So.
Will they? Okay, because I was reading some stuff about those bands, and people basically said they work to open your door and they don't work for anything else. So you're saying that you can use them for the kids clubs, though?
I believe you can. I've had guests who have done that and used them. I haven't been on since they've used them, but that's what they told me.
Good to know. Good to know. Very good to know. So haven't done all of that. Okay.
Quick question for you. Do they give magic bands to babies too? Or not magic bands, but the bands for the kids clubs, do they give those to the babies also? Like for the nursery?
Only if you're 3 or older. Only if you're going into the Oceaneers Lounge, or not if you're doing It's a Small World nursery.
Got it.
The other thing about Kids Club is I always take my son down there first, to get him kind of oriented with the space so he knows what it is. My hope is always that he meets somebody during that time. They have, sorry, I should have backed up. They have open house time on that embarkation day. So they have certain open house times throughout the cruise. That's a time that parents can go in, anyone can go in, and it's free open house time. Though other times, only kids go in there. And so it's a good time to get your kid kind of oriented and know where it is, know how they have, by the way, the coolest ways to wash your hands. You stick your hands in and it washes them. It's really awesome and kind of a fun way to get in. But I just want my kid to feel comfortable in the space. And so I always take him down there and we get kind of oriented in that place. So, and if you have kids younger than 3, they can't really get into the kids club. So the open house time is also a time, if you have brother, sister, or older, younger, the younger kids can also see that space and feel like they're in there and give them something to look forward to on their next cruise.
And it's good for adults too, because that's the thing. Sometimes you're traveling with all adults, and during those open houses, you can even get into Vibe and Edge, the kids clubs for the older kids, and go in there and play video games or play ping pong or whatever. And so we like to do that as well, just when I'm sailing with adults, because we can go in and play with all their stuff. So that's kind of fun too. And I completely agree about getting your kids kind of warmed up to the kids clubs, because I have a lot of parents that will say to me that, oh, we're not going to use the kids clubs. My son won't go in there. That's not what we're going to stay together. And they said, well, go down there together just during the open house and just so you know what it is, and let him go in and let him kind of explore and see what's there, because you never know. And here's the thing. You may think that they're not going to spend time there or want to spend time there, but here's the thing. When you go down there together, you can check it out, and they are going to see all of the games. They're going to see the other kids. As Chris said, you might make a friend, that kind of thing. And my kids, I don't see them the entire cruise because they want to be in the kids clubs the entire time. So it really might surprise you. Maybe you don't think that you're going to use them, but you might actually really use them a lot. So definitely take that time to go down there together. And I also like to use that time that you can talk to the staff in case your kids have any special needs, anything that you need to tell them about or warn them about or anything like that. I would use that when my son was younger. He is autistic, so I would let them know that. I would let them know this is what happens when the activity is going to change. This is what his triggers are. This is how you can let him have a smoother time so that he's not upset while he's in here. And I think that just they could make notes, and it kind of just helps everybody out. So,
as I said, it's a great time. They may make friends, and my son has friends that he still is in contact with from cruises that we've done previously, and so they make buddies, and then they want to go down and hang out with. I know I'm awesome to hang out with, but maybe not for my son. So it's a great. They're really awesome spaces. So definitely check them out. They're well worth it.
Yep. So about this time, it's probably 2:30, and your stateroom is ready to go. You won't be able to get in your stateroom right away as soon as you board the ship. As we already talked about, you're carrying on that backpack, your bottle of water, your wine, and you are ready to put it all down. So we're going to head to the stateroom. Shortly after you get in your stateroom attendant is going to come and introduce themselves to you. And I am telling you right now, make that stateroom attendant your best friend, because if you can be super nice to them, they are going to come back tenfold on you. And they are really going to treat you like a king and queen. They work so hard. These stateroom attendants, they work so hard to keep your room clean and organized for you. And they are just absolutely amazing people. And I've had good ones and I've had bad ones over the cruise, but I tell you, just being nice and kind to them really goes a long way in showing them that you appreciate them. It goes a very, very long way. I'm very specific about pillows because I have to have a very thick, firm pillow or else I just cannot sleep. And one time I asked one of the stateroom attendants, I'm like, do you have any other kind of pillow available? And he said, well, let me see what we have. And they had like some egg crates, and I'm like, don't worry about it. I said, don't worry about it. Came back later, and he had constructed a pillow for me where he had taken like a pillow and like wrapped it in egg crate and like put another pillow in there and shoved it all into this pillowcase so that I had a very, very firm pillow to sleep. I mean, he spent a lot of time on this, and it's like he just this way.
Wow.
You know, it's so nice, you know? And it's like, and one time, one of them was like, we really, really, really meshed with him. And like, he gave us, I pulled it out so I could show you. Like, he gave us a whole bunch of the like soap on the ropes sponges to take home. And it was just like, they can be really, really, really amazing if you just show them a little bit of kindness. So, anybody else?
I love that. Any other tips for Embarkation Day? The only thing I would say is if you want to see the sailway show, get a spot early. I know you're going to bake out in the sun if it's in Florida, and that's just part of it. So you don't want to be standing all the way on the back or the side or 3 people deep. It's cute. You should see it at least once. For me, it's a tradition every time. Get there early and just deal with, unfortunately, the heat.
Or get there early to get a shaded spot. There are shaded
good.
spots.
Yeah. I don't have any other things for Embarkation Day, I don't think.
I think we've got all of mine out there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's going to do it for all our pro tips for Embarkation Day. We hope that we've given you enough that you have a smooth Embarkation Day on your first or however many thousandth Disney cruise you are about to go on. And if you need any other help with your Disney cruise, of course, keep watching the DCL show, or better yet, reach out to a Dreams Unlimited travel agent because they really will help you book and plan the perfect Disney Cruise Line vacation. So since we have some Dreams Unlimited travel agents on here, why don't you let everyone know how to get in touch with you? We'll start with Elaine.
So my email is Elaine, ELAINE, at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
How can they get in touch with you, Chris? Chris V at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. There's another Chris. I'm Chris V. We're both happy to help you, but I'm Chris V at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
And it's still very kind of you to, share the wealth with other Chris of dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And you can read all of Jackie's great articles over at dclfan.com. You will really want to check that out as a great resource to help plan a Disney Cruise Line vacation. But beyond booking a vacation with Dreams Unlimited Travel, you can also support us by subscribing to this channel, leaving positive comments for us, or bad comments if you don't like the direction this is going. But, hit the thumbs up. Leave us comments and any future suggestions for cruise line shows you would love to see. And if you are listening to this, to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you can leave us ratings and reviews when possible, that would be fantastic. But that's going to do it for this episode of the DCL show. We will be back real soon with more great Disney Cruise Line topics to help you plan the best vacation possible. But until then, remember, you can't get to Castaway Cay without Disney Cruise Line.